Hi, my friends. I'm back with another lovely little book from the Nag Hammadi text. And this one is called The Concept of Our Great Power. Introduced by Francis E. Williams, translated by Frederick Wisey Wiz, edited by Douglas M. Parrott. The concept of our great power is a Christian Gnostic salvation history. Beginning with creation, it recounts the workings of God's justice and mercy and the conflict between good and evil, ending with the final beatitude. Unusually for a Gnostic work, the tractate is apocalyptic. That is, its climax is a dramatic description of the end of the world. I don't know how unusual that is. Even here, however, it betrays as Gnostic character. Its Gnostic faction expects no general resurrection and contemplates the salvation of nothing material. Our great power is the document's supreme God. He is transcendent and above all powers, including the Old Testament God. The Father of flesh. However, he intervenes in history. It is he who builds the ark and rescues Noah from the flood. So, this is one thing about this gospel that I think is weird. It doesn't make sense. It might be wrong. The very first lines of the tract make it clear that the human salvation depends upon knowing our great power. But that's why I'm sharing it here, because of course it's in the spirit. Whether it has, you never throw the baby out with the bathwater, folks. As the title has probably been taken from the first line, it might well be rendered the perception of our great power, or even the knowledge of our great power. In the manner typical of apocalyptic, the tract divides all history into 3 eons. The first eon of the flesh ends with the flood, and the second, or psychic eon, the revealer appears. He is clearly meant to be the New Testament Christ, though the author avoids that title and is careful not to say explicitly that the revealer is crucified. The second eon ends with the war amongst wicked angelic rulers, the archons, the appearance of an antichrist-like feature, and the destruction of the world by fire. Though the fire consumes matter, it purifies souls. Together with the saints, the purified souls then live forever in the great power's indestructible eon. While this tract's message is clear in broad outline, its details are often puzzling. Some figures well known from other Gnostic theology, the Mother, for example, are mentioned but seem to play no part in the story. Incidents sometimes repeat themselves or come at an unexpected place in the narrative. Thus, the fire can be understood to destroy the universe twice. The transitions between episodes are often abrupt, so likewise are the changes in the persons of pronouns and the person and tense of verbs. Only a few passages it is even difficult to make connected sense. Some of the problems can be solved simply by an attentive reading of the tractate, and recent interpretation has presented the work as a self-consistent whole. Other investigators, however, may still feel that the document has undergone more than one redaction, or at least been extensively glossed. In particular, the question whether an original Jewish apocalypse underlies certain portions of the work seems worthy of investigation. Even the language of the tractate, a mixture of Sahidic and sub-acmimic dialects of Coptic, calls for explanation. It may simply be that a Sahidic-speaking scribe attempted to translate a sub-acmimic writing into his own dialect. Some, however, explain the language as Proto-Sahidic, a stage of Coptic earlier than that of the Sahidic New Testament. Questions of this tractate's date and provenance are bound up with those of its language and presumed literary history. If the language is felt to be Pro-Sahidic, the document would be dated rather early. There is, however, an apparent reference to the Homoeoan heresy, one who sees this as stemming from the original author rather than a glossitator who wished to place the document in the 4th century. Similar uncertainties make it difficult to determine the document's provenance. If the statement that the word appeared in the East at the first as the authors, this might have came from Asia Minor. The concept of our great power. The perception of understanding the concept or thought of the great power. He who will know our great power will become invisible, and fire will not be able to consume him. But it, i.e., the fire, will purge and destroy all your possessions. For everyone in whom my form will appear will be saved from the age of 7 days up to 120 years. Those whom I consider to gather all that is fallen in the writings of our great power, in order that he, i.e., the power, may inscribe your name in our great light, and their thoughts and their works may be ended, that they may be purged and be scattered and be destroyed and be gathered in the place which no one in it sees. But you will see me, and you will prepare your dwelling places in our great power. Know how what is departed came to be, in order that you may know how to discern what lives to become, of what appearance that aeon is, or what kind it is, or how it will come to be. Why do you not ask what kind you will become, or rather how you came to be? Discern what size the water is, that it is immeasurable and incomprehensible, both in beginning and its end. It supports the earth. It blows in the air where the gods and angels are. But in him who is exalted above all these, there is the fear and the light, and in him are my writings revealed. I have given them as a service to the creation of the physical things, for it is not possible for anyone to stand without that one, nor is it possible for the aeon to live without him. It is he who possesses what is in him by discerning and purity. Then behold the Spirit and know where he is. He gave himself to men that they may receive life from him every day. And since he has his life within him, he gives to them all. Then the darkness together with Hades took the fire. And he, i.e. the darkness, will release him from himself what is mine. His eyes were not able to endure my light. And after the spirits and the waters moved, the remainder came into being, the whole aeon of the creation and their powers. The fire came forth from them, and the power came in, the mist of the powers. And the powers desired to see my image, and the soul became its replica, i.e. my images. This is the work that came into being. see what it is like that before it comes into being, it does not see. Because the aeon of the flesh came to be in the great bodies. And there were appointed to them long days in the creation. For when they had polluted themselves and had entered into the flesh, and the father of the flesh, the water, avenged himself. For when he had found that Noah was pious and worthy, and it is the father of the flesh who holds the angels in subjugation, and he, i.e. Noah, preached piety for 120 years, and no one listened to him, and he made a wooden ark, and whom he had found entered it. And the flood took place, and thus Noah was saved with his sons. For if indeed the ark had not been meant for man to enter, then the waters of the flood would not have come. In this way he intended and planned to save the gods and the angels and the powers and the greatness of all these and the nourishment and the way of life. And he moves them from the eons and nourishes them in permanent places. And the judgment of the flesh was unleashed. Only the works of the power stood up. Next, the psychic eon. It is a small one, which is mixed with bodies by begetting in the souls and defiling them. For the first defilement of the creation found strength, and it begot every work, many works of wrath, anger, envy, malice, hatred, slander, contempt, and war, lying and evil counsels, sorrows and pleasures, basements and defilements, falsehoods and diseases, evil judgments that they decree according to their desires. Yet you are sleeping, dreaming dreams. Wake up and return. Taste and eat the true food. Hand out the word and the water of life. Cease from the evil lusts and desires and the teachings of the anomions, evil heresies that have no basis. And the mother of the fire was impotent. She brought the fire upon the soul and the earth, and she burned all the dwellings that are in them. And it's the female fire shepherd perished. Moreover, when she does not find anything else to burn, she will destroy herself. And it, the fire, will become incorporeal, without body, and will burn matter, until it has cleansed everything and all wickedness, for which it does not find anything else to burn. It will turn against itself until it has destroyed itself. Then in this eon, which is the psychic one, the man will come into being who knows the great power. He will receive me, and he will know me. He will drink from the milk of the mother, in fact. He will speak in parables. He will proclaim the aeon that is to come, just as he spoke in the first aeon of the flesh as Noah. Now concerning his words, when he uttered, he spoke in all of them, in 72 tongues. And he opened the gates of the heavens with his words. And he put to shame the ruler of Hades. He raised the dead, and he destroyed the dominion. Then a great disturbance took place. The archons raised up their wrath against him. They wanted to hand him over to the ruler of Hades. Then they recognized one of his followers. A fire took hold of him, i.e. Judas' soul. He handed him over since no one knew him. They acted and seized him. They brought judgment upon themselves. And they delivered him up to the ruler of Hades. And they handed him over to Sasabek for 9 bronze coins. He prepared himself to go down and put them to shame. Then the ruler of Hades took him. And he found that the nature of his flesh could not be seized, in order to show it to the archons. Ha! But he was saying, "Who is this? Who is it? His word has abolished the law of the aeon. He is from the logos of power of life." And he was victorious over the command of... He is from the logos of the power of life. And he was victorious over the command of the archons. They were not able by their work to rule over him. The archons searched after that which had come to pass. They did not know that this is the sign of their dissolution, and that it is the change of the aeon. The sun set during the day. That day became dark. The evil spirits were troubled. And after these things he will appear ascending. And the sign of the aeon that is to come will appear, and the aeons will dissolve. And those who would know these things that were discussed with them will become blessed. And they will reveal them, and they will become blessed, since they will come to know the truth. For you have found rest in the heavens. Then many will follow him, and they will labor in their birthplaces. They will go about, they will write down his words according to their desire. Ha! Behold, these aeons have passed. What size is the water of the aeon that has dissolved? What dimensions do aeons have? How will men prepare themselves? And how will they be established? And how will they become indestructible aeons? But at first, after his preaching, it is he who proclaims the second aeon and the first. And the first aeon perished in the course of time. He made the first aeon going about in it until it perished, while preaching 120 years in number. This is the perfect number that is highly exalted. He made the border of the west desolate, and he destroyed the east. Then your seed and those who wish to follow after the great Logos and his proclamation, then the wrath of the archons burned. They were ashamed of their dissolution, and they fumed and were angry at the life. The cities were overturned, the mountains dissolved. The archon came with the archons of the western regions to the east, i.e. the place where the Logos appeared at first. Then the earth trembled, and the cities were troubled. Moreover, the birds ate and were filled with their dead. The earth mourned together with the inhabited world. They became desolate. Then, when the times were completed, then wickedness arose mightily until the final end of the Logos. Then the archon of the western regions arose, and from the east he will perform a work, and he will instruct men in his wickedness, and he wants to nullify all teaching, the words of true wisdom, while loving the lying wisdom. For he attacked the old, wishing to introduce wickedness and to put on dignity. Would that be referring to like shamanism, for example? He was incapable because the defilement of his garment is great. Then he became angry. He appeared and desired to go up and to pass up to that place. Then the appointed time came and drew near, and he changed the commands. Then the time came upon the child who had grown up. When he had come to his maturity, then the archon sent the imitator to that man, in order that they might know our great power. And they were expecting from him that he would perform for them a sign. And he bore great signs. And he reigned over the whole earth, and over all those who are under heaven. He placed his throne upon the end of the earth. For I shall make you God of the world. Exclamation point. Parentheses. He will perform signs and wonders. Then they will turn from me and they will go astray. Then those men who will follow after him, i.e. the imitator, will introduce circumcision. And he will pronounce judgment upon those who are from the uncircumcision, who are the true people. For in fact, he sent many preachers beforehand who preached on his behalf. When he has completed the established time of the kingdom of the earth, then the cleansing of the souls will come, since wickedness is stronger than you, people. All the powers of the sea will tremble and dry up, and the firmament will not pour down dew. The springs will cease. The rivers will not flow down to their springs, and the waters of the springs of the earth will cease. Then the depths will be laid bare, and they will be open. The stars will grow in size, and the sun will cease. And I shall withdraw with everyone who will know me, and they will enter into the immeasurable light, from where there is no one of the flesh, nor the wantonness of the first to seize them. They will be unhampered and holy, since nothing drags them down. I myself protect them, since they have holy garments, which the fire cannot touch, nor darkness, nor wind, nor a moment, so as to cause one to shut the eyes. Then he will come to destroy all of them, and they will be chastised until they become pure. Moreover, their period, which was given to them to have power, which was apportioned to them, is 1460 years. When the fire has consumed them all, and when it does not find anything else to burn, then it will perish by its own hand. Then the something else will be completed. The completion of the great something, the second power or something or other. The mercy will come through what? Through wisdom. And a bunch of other things to do with knowledge. Then the firmaments will fall down into the depth. Then the sons of matter will perish. They will not be henceforth. Then the souls will appear, who are holy through the light of the power, who is exalted above all powers, the immeasurable, the universal one. And I and all those who know me. And they will be in the aeon of beauty, of the aeon of judgment, since they are ready in wisdom, having given glory to him who is in the incomprehensible unity. And they see him because of his will, which is in them. And they have become as reflections in his light. They all have shone, and they have found rest in his rest. And he will rest in the souls that are being punished, and they will come to be in purity. And they will see the saints and cry out to them, "Have mercy on us, O power, who art above all powers, for something, there's nothing like you, and you're the best," or whatever. And to the tree, I'm not sure what it says, in the tree of inequity that exists, they will rectify to him. They will, something to him in their eyes. And they do not seek him because they do not seek us, nor do they believe us, but they acted according to the creation of the archons and its other rulers. But we have acted according to our birth of the flesh and the creation of the archons, which gives law. We also have come to be in the unchangeable eon, the concept of our great power. Hope you enjoy that. I think it's a pretty fun book, and to read and learn from, and gain some more clues. about what the essence of true gnosis could be. And it's what ascension really is through the teachings of the highest levels of gnosis. The hidden words of Christ Yeshua and his friends and followers. Take care.